Showtime! Dr. Glines here, and
Coach Josh from Remedy Athletics, CrossFit Marysville.
yeah, we are excited to do this. We have been talking and correlating and really discussing what kind of things we can do to make this 1, interactive, 2, informative, and 3, something productive for you. And we thought, why not come up with some simple tests you can do at home? So hopefully you're dressed in some gym attire like myself. And you can, again, interact with us. We are going to go through some really good things such as range of motion. We're going to go through some straightforward tests. I'll let Josh explain more of that.
Yeah, we'll take you guys through a quick movement assessment here at Remedy Athletics with our coaches. We like to assess, we don't guess. That's going to be a reference to our OPEC staff and all the OPEC staff that we've been utilizing. One of the things that we like to do here is we like to assess movement so we can understand where the current athlete's going to be at, their motor control, their movement ability. This allows the coaches to formulate a good plan of action to take these athletes through the physical demands that they're going to need in order to get them from point A to point B. But we first need to find where that baseline is and where that athlete is currently at so we can safely prescribe those methods.
Yeah, baselines are in everything. In medicine, again, we know what a normal blood pressure is, what normal blood sugar is. We should also know what is normal and abnormal in how we function, how we move, and that's why we're going to do these tests today. So we're just going to get started because that's why you're here. I'm going to go through some simple range of motion tests for our neck and low back. And so what that involves is everybody should have a certain amount or degree of motion in their spine. If they don't have that motion, then that typically will lead over time to arthritis, degeneration. People will get a lot of aches and pains and stiffness that doesn't just get better by itself. So what we recommend is pull out a pen and paper because it's going to be important to document these things and see how you do. And again, you can review these videos later and check yourself, maybe record yourself. It's a lot harder to watch yourself do these because we don't have multiple sets of eyes. And so what I recommend is really record yourself doing these things that Josh is going to show you, that I'm going to show you, so that you can check yourself. And then in 60 to 90 days, we're going to do this again. And hopefully you have some goals and you can take action in that time to create change. Change, why does that matter? Well, if you are less achy, if you can get through the day with less pain, if you can move better, then life is better. So, anything else you want to add right now?
Movement helps create blood flow. Blood flow helps increase our ability to recover, and it's also going to lead to vitality of life and quality of life. So just think of primal movements throughout the day. These are going to be methods that are going to help you guys get better at the test that we're actually going to put you guys through today. So based off the assessment that we find today, if we just add basic primal movement patterns to our daily activities, you're going to see a difference when we come back and reassess later on.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So range of motion, we're going to do a couple of checks for our range of motion of our neck. So check number 1, you should be able to bring your chin without opening your mouth, bring your chin down and just about touch your chest. If that's stiff in the upper back, that's a lot of times indicative of something going on in there, maybe repetitive injury from living on that couch or computer life. Or when we look up, our face should be almost parallel with the ceiling. You might hear some clicks and pops, and that's just the joints moving in your neck. Now, looking from the front, you should be able to go to about a 45-degree angle or halfway down toward the shoulder. And don't do this. This is one of the most common things I see. It's not bringing the shoulder up. It's bringing the neck down. And then you'd want to check both sides. And then last but not least is rotation for the neck. And you should be able to bring your chin, should be able to go over and then touch your collarbone. So that's for the neck. And then for the low back, again, you can rewatch these videos to see what we're going through. There's lumbar flexion or bending forward. We should be able to go down without bending your knees or letting your heels come up off the table. Should be able to go down. And the shoulders should be almost to 90 degrees. But Josh does a really good job. Can you turn to the side for a second, Josh? And then do that one more time. So he's very flexible in his lumbar spine. He's able to get even below that 90 degrees. And then, come on up. And then the next one or last ones that we're going to do are lumbar extension, which put your hands on your hips, and you're going to just don't bend the knees, lean back. If any of these are painful, then something's going on. And then last but not least is lateral flexion. Hands at your sides. You're going to bend one way and bend the other. So again, those are some simple baseline range of motions that we should have for our neck and lower back. If any of those were uncomfortable, tender, painful, stiff, then hey, do something about it. Again, it's up to you. Only you care the most about your health. So with that being said, Josh, the man, the myth, the legend, and we got Ryan in the back, so everybody shout out to Ryan for being here today. Thank you. Josh is going to take over and go through what you can do to live your better life. So take it away, my man.
All right, so again, I'm Josh, Remedy Athletics. We're here to help you guys get moving, help build these attributes and these physical abilities to, again, restore your life, give you guys control of your life, live vitality, live long and prosperous, okay? So along with our move and our work assessment, we also do a body composition assessment as well. Based off the body composition, it's going to give us a lot of feedback when it comes for us prescribing basic lifestyle guidelines, or our BLGs, nutrition, and exercise prescription. Here at Remedy Athletics, we use an in-body scanner. This is going to give us multiple biomarkers and biometrics and good feedback where you're currently physically going to be at internally. This is going to give us feedback on lean body mass, fat compositions, your height, your weight. It's going to give us a lot of good biomarkers that we can then utilize to help prescribe you guys, again, those basic lifestyle guidelines, those nutritions, and then also that exercise prescription that'll take you guys from point A to point B. In-body scanners, there's going to be 3 different versions of these. You guys can find these when stores open back up. Your local supplement stores have these. They normally allow you guys to utilize them for free. If you're a Remedy Athletics member, somebody around the area, we have one here, okay? So again, just another tool that we're going to utilize to get more of an assessment so we don't have to guess on the back end of what's going on internally inside of the body. Along with this, now we're going to move you guys through our move assessment, and then I'm going to take you guys through a work assessment. Move assessment, we're just going to test your basic primal movement patterns, which are going to be squatting, bending, single leg movements, core and stability movements, pushing, and pulling movements. Again, there's going to be a lot of things that you guys will see that, hey, you guys can add this, you can add this. The assessment can actually go on forever. We're just going to look at the big primal movement patterns that we find are going to lead to a better quality of life, okay? So the first one that we're going to go over is going to be our squat pattern. So I'm going to have Ryan come out. And again, anatomically, when we're talking about squats in some of these positions, know that your limbs are different than others. So positions might need to change depending on how long, how tall you are, how short you are, okay? So I'm going to talk in general terms, mess around with some of the positions to find a comfort level. So with the squat pattern, what I'm going to have Ryan do is set his feet roughly about shoulder width apart. It should be a comfortable stance for him. It should allow him to be able to hit a depth of his squat while maintaining the proper points of performance that I'm going to require of this. From this position, what I'm going to ask him to do now is bring his hands up to a Y position. Okay? And this is going to now show us where the torso angle should be maintained throughout this squat pattern. From here, I'm going to ask Ryan to just simply sit his hips back and down as far as he can. Good. And hold here. Good. At this bottom position, a few things that we're going to look for. We're looking for the knee to be tracking in line with the toes. We're checking the hip crease and the depth of the squat. Is the crease below parallel? We're going to look at the torso angle and the structure of the Y. Is his torso falling forward? Are his arms dropping forward, losing stability of the torso? From here, I'm going to have him press through the floor and simply stand. Shoulders and hips rise together. He'll perform 3 reps of this at any tempo, just down and up. We're looking for that full foot to be connected. Weight stays in the mid-foot. Knees are in line with toes and a proper torso angle. If he performs 3 good reps, good check. We'll move on to the next one. Cool. On the next one, we're going to go through, let me take a look at my thing. We're going to go through the toe touch. So this is going to be the same thing that Dr. Glines just took you through. So what I'm going to have Ryan do for his setup is he's going to bring feet and legs together in this one. Again, with the knees locked and not flexing at the knees, he's simply going to reach down as far as he can. We're going to look for this same exact thing Dr. Glines is looking for. We're looking for curvature of the spine. We're looking for, does the neck follow the curvature of the upper back? We're looking for the hamstring length along with the knees being locked out and the full foot connected to the floor. He'll simply kind of roll back out of this. Good. Back to a standing position. Again, what we don't want to do is think about reaching to the floor. When you think of reaching to the floor, you'll inhibitedly start to bend at the knees to reach that target. Lock the knees out, reach as far as you can. Don't force the range of motion on that movement, okay? The next one's going to be a lunge test. The lunge test is going to test unilateral strength and stability of the glutes, the legs, the quads, okay? There is going to be a proper setup to this. A lot of you guys as athletes probably never actually went through a proper setup of a lunge, so I'm going to take you guys through it today. I'm going to have Ryan sit down on his butt, legs extended straight out. When we look at proper lunge position, we're going to take into consideration his limb length here. So he's going to place a hand right on the edge of the greater trochanter or his thigh bone, and I'm going to mark it. Cool. And then I'm going to mark his ankle. From here, I'm going to have Ryan stand. He'll step behind the greater trochanter line. Good. And with one foot behind, he's going to step out with the other foot, and the heel's going to cross over. Good. What you'll notice is it's probably a little bit wider of a lunge than you're normally used to. Okay, I'll have you stand tall. From this position, once he finds that foot position, we're going to maintain a tall torso, looking at staying vertical the entire time. He's simply going to drop the back knee, find the floor, good, and drive back up to a standing position. Again, as he goes down, a couple things that we're going to look for at the bottom position. Does the torso angle change? Does he have the ability eccentrically and concentrically to keep the torso forward? Is the knee in line with the toe? Does he have balance and stability of the hips? Is there any shifting of the hips or any turning of the hips in this movement? As he drives back up, we'll mark those all off again. Again, he'll perform 3 reps on each side, and then he'll switch to the other side. Again, with this assessment, if we see that one side is having issues, it's going to allow us to now program appropriately for what the athlete's going to need. If we need to do more unilateral exercises on the left side, if we need to focus on stability of the left side versus the right side, again, just allowing us more of an opportunity to progress them safely and quicker.
Good. Say somebody can't do these, or maybe they've been injured, or they're just haven't been active for a long time. Is there a way to modify these or to kind of check these things?
For most of them, yes. Take it down to a range of motion that you feel comfortable and don't exceed that. If you start to feel the torso falling forward and you can't get back out of it, don't try and come back out of it. You can use a hand to support, or you can just use some sort of object to get back to a standing position. But again, yes, don't force any of the positions. Modify to a range of motion that feels comfortable for you. Okay? Okay. Next one we'll go through.
Shout out to Madison and Jennifer watching right now.
Next one we're going to go through is going to be an active straight leg raise. So I'm going to have Ryan lay on his back. Legs are going to be extended out. And in this movement, what we're going to look for is hip flexors, their ability to flex and extend. I'm going to look at dorsiflexion of the ankle, and again, hamstring length. So from this position, what I'm going to ask him to do now is take his ankles into dorsiflexion. He's going to simply think of taking his toes towards his shin or pulling them to his face. While maintaining a dorsiflex position here, he's just going to bring one leg up at a time as far as he can. What we're going to look for at this top position is this heel clearing the opposite knee here, and is he able to maintain dorsiflexion at the ankle? If he can, he'll bring it back down. He'll perform 3 reps on that side. Again, dorsiflexion of the ankle, heel passing the knee. That'll be a good check. We'll switch to the other side, perform it again. The other thing that I recommend to you guys is if you're having trouble and you don't do these movements a lot, maybe take a little bit of rest between the right and the left side when you go to check these as well. Good. Awesome.
It's like you've done these before.
The next one we're going to go into is going to be more of an active position now. So for this one, you'll need like a stopwatch or a clock. We're going to go into a side plank position. Side plank position, we're going to work on core stability as well as a little bit of shoulder extension, okay? So in a side plank position, we're actually going to go onto the forearm position here. Simply going to have Ryan kick all the way out. Everything is going to be in line. So we're looking for ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders to all be aligned in this position. On arms should be right underneath the shoulder. He's just gonna think of pushing his hips up just a little bit and keeping everything lined up here. Again, in this position, what we're gonna look for is he able to maintain midline contraction? When we talk about midline contraction, think of somebody punching you in the stomach and you're bracing for that punch. Air goes down and out, creating a barrier of the midline. Can he hold this? Do we see it start to drop down at any point, or is he losing position? Once we see that, we terminate there, he rests and relax. Optimum time frame should be about 90 seconds per side. It's pretty tough. I think most people struggle around 30 seconds. Hold it as long as you can. Be true to yourself. As soon as you feel like you're losing position, nix it, note the time, we'll reassess later on. Again, take a quick break between these ones. I would recommend 3 minutes of rest before doing this on the other side for a good and solid assessment, okay? The next one's gonna be the full plank position. So in the full plank position, our actual starting position is gonna be on all four. So we're gonna go wrist stacked underneath the shoulder, placing the hands underneath the shoulder. We're gonna go knees underneath the hips. This is now gonna allow us to get into a proper plank position. I'm gonna have Ryan take one leg at a time and extend it back. Good. Placing his toes on the floor, and the other one. What you'll notice now is he's still able to maintain the proper position. His ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders are all lined up, and we're gonna look for protraction of the shoulder blade, so he's actively pressing through the floor. Press into my hands. There we go. Again, we're gonna look for true midline stability, so is he able to maintain a braced position? Think about getting that punch in that stomach. Is he able to protract and maintain protraction of the shoulder blades here? Is he tight through the midline? Are the heels and legs falling off, or are we starting to sag in the middle? Again, once we start to see any breakdown or deviation in the movement pattern, we terminate it. Good. We note the time, we reassess later on. We got a few more here. Next one, a little bit of an odd one, and I don't think we consider this one as often as we should, is gonna be the reverse plank position. The reverse plank position is now gonna look at shoulder extension, and we're gonna look at posterior engagement on this one. So I'm gonna have Ryan start on his butt this time. His fingers are gonna face away, so they're gonna be out towards the walls here. Good, we're gonna look at the wrist being either underneath the shoulder or slightly behind the shoulder for comfort. From this position, all he's gonna do now is drive his hips to the ceiling, head remains neutral. Again, we're looking for proper alignment of the joints, ankles, knees, hips, and shoulder, and we're looking at that shoulder extension right here. So he's actively pressing and opening this front side up. Again, we're gonna check, can he maintain midline stability? Do the shoulders maintain their position? Once we start to see any deviation in this movement, hips drop, shoulders give out, nix it, it's terminated there again, okay?
Is that about the same time you should be able to do a plank for?
So the plank is actually, that's a good question. So the plank will only actually be 1 minute is a true test of the plank, and the reverse plank is gonna be the same thing, only 1 minute. Again, what you'll notice for most people is we can actually hold a plank position for probably 90 seconds, and we can actually hold a side plank for like 30 seconds. So again, showing that we don't have true midline equal strength throughout the entire midsection. Next one we'll go through, and again, this one's just a little added one that we like to do because it's gonna demonstrate motor control and your ability to breathe from the diaphragm. Remember, the diaphragm's a muscle. The diaphragm needs to be worked. Whenever we exercise, breathing is a huge component of creating blood flow to the muscles that we're currently utilizing. When we look at motor control patterns, we're looking at our neurological ability to understand how limbs move in certain movement patterns. The dead bug is going to be a perfect example of this. So lying on his back, again, this is called the dead bug because it's like stepping on a cockroach here. So we're going to think of that same concept of the cockroach getting stepped on. I'm going to have Ryan bring his knees in line with his hips, and his arms are going to be extended, wrist in line with shoulder. He's going to think of me stepping on his belly like a dead bug, pulling his belly button, his spine, and he's going to plug the gap between his low back and the floor here, okay? Here, he's not holding his breath. He's taking shallow breaths through his nose, and he's working on diaphragmatic breathing. Holding this position, we're going to go opposite arm, opposite limb, and he's going to extend out as far as he can while maintaining this braced position. He'll pull those limbs back together to a neutral and then switch to the other side. Again, he's going to perform 3 reps on each side, trying to maintain belly button to spine, plugging this gap. Once I feel this gap start to disconnect, he's no longer functionally breathing, we stop the exercise, we reassess later on. And rest. One of the other things you'll notice with that, probably the first time you get into, you're actually going to see how difficult it is to move opposite arm, opposite leg. A lot of time when we get people into this position, neurologically they automatically move the same arm, same leg, or they have to sit there for a little while and think about it. That's the purpose of this, because that motor control causes that neurological adaptation of how movement should be done and how it feels when it's done properly. We have 2 more to go through. Our last one for the move assessment here is going to be a single leg glute bridge. So lying on his back, again, we're looking at stability of the glutes here, stability and strength unilaterally of the glutes. Again, thinking belly button to spine, his heels will be close to his butt, arms extended out to the side. He can utilize them to press down if he needs to. You can also fold them across your chest. Arms down is the easier method though. From here, he's simply going to drive his hips towards the ceiling with both legs planted on the floor. And then he's going to extend one leg out straight, and he's going to hold and maintain this position for as long as possible. Again, we're looking for knee to be in line with toe, proper alignment of all of his joints, midline stability. Once we start to see deviation in anything, the hips drop, the knee collapses, we terminate, we rest, and then we switch to the other side and we perform again. On this one, we're looking for somewhere around 30 seconds to about a minute. What you might find is one side might be really, really easy to do and the other side might be extremely hard. And then go ahead and rest, relax. The other thing that you might find is the inability on one side to drive your hips all the way up to extension versus the other side. So just a couple things to keep in mind whenever you're going through that glute hip bridge on a single leg. Last one that we ask you guys to do is going to be a 10-minute assessment of your aerobic abilities. So this is going to be what you can endure as far as conditioning components. Again, giving us a good feedback on where to start you with our prescription of exercise. So what we look at is a 10-minute interval. We look at this 10-minute interval. Normally we would have you perform this in a controlled environment on something like a cyclical bike, like an assault bike. But since we don't have access to those right now, walking, running, biking, or rowing for 10 minutes. During that 10 minutes, your feedback is going to note the distance traveled within that 10-minute time frame. Based off that 10-minute time frame, again, exercise prescription, daily movement, we'll reassess and see how much you can endure in that 10-minute time frame when we come back and do it again. And that's it.
So do you use this on everybody that comes into the gym, or?
Yes, it's something that we've been constantly pursuing. It's getting better and better and better. I think each time we revise it, it comes out a little bit better. We do currently run an assessment on everybody that comes through. You guys will notice if you guys ever take our fundamentals classes, our coaches will run you through that brief assessment, including the body. You will get your body measurements done prior to any sort of movement and stuff like that. So we do run you guys through that type of stuff inside of here as well.
Sounds good. So Josh, as always, he's the man. He knows what's going on. So give it Josh, the head trainer of Remedy Athletics, the wonderful and handsome Ryan, who was just, bestowed his presence upon us a couple minutes ago. He's waving. And of course, Dr. Glines with Hanson Chiropractic and Injury in Everett, Washington. If you want to learn more about anything we've talked about, discussed, again, we are one in helping you to live your best life, feel your best, and perform at your best. So I would say go check out remedyathletics.com. Look at them up on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And then also go ahead and definitely check out everettpainrelief.com. That's our website. Or you can check out Hanson Chiropractic and Injury on Facebook. Please like and subscribe both of our Facebook pages. They help a lot. And that way you get all the information that we're going to continue to put out there for you.
Yeah, so we also have Snohomish Stay Healthy page as well. You guys can follow that. We put out free workouts on that, some movement stuff. Again, if you guys follow primal movement patterns throughout this time when we come back and reassess, I promise you guys will see a difference in that kind of stuff. Also, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. A lot of the movement patterns and things like that we kind of discussed today, we break down in depth on there. We also put a lot of great content out on there as well. So yeah, subscribe to all of our platforms. Follow us if you can. We'd enjoy it. We'd love to have you guys stop by as soon as we're able to open and get back to functioning reality.
I got one more thing.
Yeah.
You guys have been putting workouts. They've been putting workouts on the regs daily. If you have weights, if you don't have weights, if you have equipment, if you don't have equipment, it's been really wonderful to follow through this lockdown personally for my family. And so, can you guys continue to do that?
Yes. In fact, you guys will see more and more of that stuff coming out. We actually just met the other day to talk about this. Ryan had some great ideas to throw at us about how we're going to move forward with this. So yes, you guys will probably see even more content released than ever before. So
good. So get active, stay healthy. It's up to you. Again, this is Josh and Dr. Glines saying, live your best life, and we'll see you soon online. See you later.